Welcome to the Griffins Pipeline Podcast.
Welcome back to the Griffins Pipeline Podcast. In today's episode, we'll be going over the 2023-2024 Grand Rapids Griffins regular season. I'm Connor.
And I'm Kyle.
How's it going, dude?
Going good, man. Get this regular season recap out of the way. We got playoffs going on, and Griffins obviously won their first home game. So, good start. Let's keep it rolling.
Good to get a good start on the playoffs. But yeah, before we get into our review, Detroit Red Wings signed Andrew Gibson to a entry-level contract. And he signed a professional tryout with the Griffins, I believe.
Yeah, an amateur tryout.
Considered we're sitting Didier, I don't think he'll see a lot of ice time. He might just get some practice in with the boys before he starts next year, because it's kind of hard to just throw someone in right in the middle of playoffs when you're benching your captain as a healthy scratch.
Yeah, I'm thinking, if we're up like 2 games against Rockford, we might see Boom and Gibson come out. I don't think Watson's trying to risk too much, though. But it's good to see that Gibson playing with the Greyhounds this year. Got some playoff experience. 11 games for him, 2 assists, and +5. So, good job. Coming over, we'll like to see what you can do if you can get a game in.
One more thing before we get to the season review. Time is running out to call in to our call-in number at 1-616-319-1175 to win that signed Jonatan Berggren puck. So if you want to win that puck, call in, come up with a fun, anonymous name, let us know how you feel about the Griffins, make it fun. But yeah, we just want to hear from the fans. Let's get into that review.
So we're going to start off for you with the standings. The Grand Rapids Griffins this year were 37, 23, 8, and 4. They had 86 points. We were second in the division and 13th place in the league.
Yep, we finished strong in the division. The Admirals led the division with 97 points. They just kind of snuck away from everyone. No one could really catch them.
Yeah, they had that 19-game win streak. Really propelled them on top.
But yeah, the whole standings actually go the Admirals in first, 97. The Griffins second, 86 points. And third, the Ice Hogs, 85. And fourth, the Stars with 72. And fifth, the Moose with 71. And that was the playoff cutoff right there for our division. And the sixth place, the Wild with 62. And in last place, the Wolves with 60. So, pull out Wild and Wolves with disappointing years. And yeah, big turnaround for the Griffins. We finished in last place last year in our division.
Yeah, last place, and we were 28, 36, 4, and 4. Basically replaced our wins with losses and completely turned the script this year under Dan Watson and company.
Yeah, Dan Watson assembled a nice crew. He had Brian Lashoff actually on the penalty kill, controlling the penalty kill and taking control of the locker room, being here for so long and being the captain last year. His body just wasn't keeping up, but he doesn't want to quit playing hockey, so he's back in the locker room. Great addition. He's done a fabulous job. And then on the offensive side, we got Stefani Julian, who's done a great job. Power play has a little bit of some problems still. But besides that, on 5-on-5, it's been looking pretty good. And then we got Rupe Kosonen for the goaltenders. pretty cool. And then we got all the equipment dudes. We got Dog Thompson, obviously, the best equipment guy in.
Yeah, and it all goes to making a smooth transfer this year with the coaching staff, and everything lines up so we are sitting in a good spot at the end of the season. Around the league, we have the Hershey Bears that have dominated. They had 53 wins and 111 points. And then behind them, we had Coachella Valley Firebirds, which, if you remember, was the matchup of the Calder Cup finals last year. It was Hershey Bears versus Coachella Valley Firebirds. So they are back at it again, leading the league.
1 and 2. And then right behind them, you got the Admirals.
And then the Providence Bruins, who have top 4 teams in the league this year.
Yep, and we're sitting all the way down there at 13, just above the Checkers and Ice Hogs. We're in the top 15, which is pretty cool to see.
Yeah, that pretty much covers it. We can go ahead and get into our scoreboard and player grades. So we're going to go over basically player grades, who led the team, and where we think they ranked, give them a letter grade.
We'll start out with the scoreboard. We'll name the top 5 of every statistical category. So for points, we got Jonatan Berggren far above everyone else. He's got 56. And then you got Carter Mazer with 37. And then you got third, you got Tara Rosie with 36. Then you got Marco Casper with 35. And then you got Dominic Shine with 33. Yeah, that's some good names to see up there. Casper and Mazer.
And what a season by Shine there too.
Yeah, definitely. So then for goals, we got in first place, we got Jonatan Berggren with 24 goals. In second place, we got Carter Mazer with 17 goals. In third place, we got Joel Esperance with 16 goals. In fourth place, we got Marco Casper with 14 goals. Zach Aston Reese has also got 14.
Leading our team in assists, we have Jonatan Berggren with 32, Tara Hirose, 27, Brogan Rafferty with 25, Dominic Shine with 23, Simon Edmondson with 22.
Nice list of playmakers there.
So then leading our team in plus minus, we have Marco Casper at plus 9. We have Tyler Spezia at plus 8. Dominic Shine at plus 8. Albert Johansson at plus 7. And Wyatt Newpower at plus 6. Along with Josiah Didier at plus 6.
Nice to have some plus dudes. Last year, it was pretty much everyone was negative. If someone was like +1, they're like sent down from the heavens. So for the goalies, so leading the team, Sebastian Kosa with a 2.41 goals against average, and then Michael Hutchison with a 2.89 goals against average. Both pretty good. And then save percentage, you got Kosa with 0.913, and then you got Michael Hutchison with 0.892. So solid goaltending this year. Nice, solid 2 goalies. We got Billy Husso in there for 1 game. He got a shutout. And then we had John Luthman for half a game. So in all reality, the 2 goalies we had is a lot better than the 12 we had last year.
Yeah, and I think the team felt very comfortable playing in front of both goaltenders all year long.
All right, let's get those grades done.
All right, you want to go right back into goalies here? We got Kosa and Hutchinson. We got to go ahead and give Kosa the A. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. He's been outstanding this season with 40 games played, getting that upper half of the games allowed, taking that A tier that we wanted, that 1A that everyone likes to say, 1A, 1B. Kosa is definitely the 1A. He's got 2 shootouts on the year. Definitely seemed like he could have grabbed more, but some late goals by teams and denied a couple. So only 2. It seems like a low number. Then 22 wins for Kosa on the season out of his 40 games played.
You got to give him the A because he's just taken the development path like better than you could even imagine. It's like the perfect scenario. He started off the season last year in GR. He didn't do great. He ended up going down to Toledo. He did great in Toledo. And then he started off the training camp really bad too this year. So everyone was kind of worried about it. And no, he came right in here and he stood tall and had probably the best season you could have hoped for.
Yeah, and when we did our mid-season review on Kosa, Hutchinson actually had played more games than Kosa at that point, and had basically better numbers in everything but save percentage. So, getting into Hutchinson,
I gave him a B minus.
Yeah, I gave him a B minus as well.
I just feel like he kind of, in the second half of the season, he kind of let a lot more goals in, easier goals than he should have. He still played a solid game, hence why he got the B minus still. But he definitely kind of started hotter in the beginning of the season, and it kind of cooled down a little bit. And Kosa definitely took over the position, and just because his position got taken, yeah, he's gonna have to get a B minus, opposed to an A.
Yeah, and that like I said, they both, like, the team plays comfortably in front of both of them. But when Kosa is out there, it just feels like we have that extra edge. So yeah, B minus for Hutchinson. Like you said, he kind of let a couple easier goals in late in the season, and just some of the games seemed like we just started losing with Hutchinson out there, but we were winning every time Kosa. Yeah, Kosa definitely led the room by the end of the season.
Alrighty, let's get to the defense. So starting with Simon Evanson, obviously he's gonna get an A, probably from you too, right?
Yep. Anytime a player gets that kind of opportunity to go up to the Red Wings and nails it like that, has a great season down here in Grand Rapids, that's an A, man. Just all around been our best defenseman, and playing 54 games for us this year. His 8 goals and 22 assists for 30 points. He stayed at a +5 and had 102 shots and led our team in for defensemen in shots this year.
He had a little bit of issues last year where he'd fling the puck out. He's pretty much completely solved that. He makes a lot better decisions, quicker decisions. He's like calmly can move the puck around. Like he just looks at ease when he has that puck. And it kind of is almost like you want him to hurry up, but he like makes it go smoothly every time. But yeah, he's got the big size, the big reach, and he's definitely going to be a great defenseman in the future for the Detroit Red Wings. As in, like, he better be next year. Like, this is our last chance to see Simon Evanson.
Yeah,
Go get your tickets for the Griffins if you want to see him down here.
Yeah, I think Mo Sider is now pulling for Edmondson to be up on the Red Wings, so we'll probably see him up there start next season. He will not be a Griffin after the playoffs.
You mentioned Simon Evanson, you got to go right into Albert Johansson. What'd you give Albert Johansson?
I gave him an A minus. He's just
same.
He's that type of defenseman. He quietly has a great game almost every game. There's not a lot that frustrates him. He's very level-headed and he's very solid in both sides of the ice. He has scored 6 goals this season, and he has 15 assists for 21 points. But he's also a +7 in keeping pucks out of our net and making huge defensive plays to do it, whether they're like complete steals, but always getting the turnover in the defensive zone. and getting the puck out, finding a way to get the puck out of the defensive end. Beautiful to watch Albert Johansson play defense.
Yeah, and he should also be up on the Detroit Red Wings next year.
Yeah, 100 shots also for Albert Johansson.
All right, so next up we got Antti Tuomisto.
Yeah, Ante Tuomisto had a great season, getting a lot of experience in the AHL. I gave him a B+.
I also gave him a B+.
In some of the lower lines at the beginning of the year, he started in Toledo and just kind of worked his way right on up. Before you know it, he's playing with Edmondson at the top line, getting top line minutes some nights. And it's very interesting to watch him grow. He's a big guy. He plays a steady game. And
he's got a laser beam slap shot.
He's got that laser beam slap shot, but man, we'd like to see it go in the net more. Yeah, Tuomisto has played 50 games for us this year. Got 5 goals, 12 assists, 17 points, and he's a +4.
So William Wallander.
I might be a little bit more of a critic on Wallander, but I ended up giving him a C+.
I gave him a B-. Explain to me why you gave him a C+. I'll tell you why I gave him a B-.
They had 65 games. He's got 3 goals, 12 assists for 15 points. But where it gets me is he's sitting at -4. And that's the lowest on the team for our defenseman. Not where you want to find yourself. I think if I had the number of hits he had, it would change my mind a little bit. So Wallander's been great. I'd like to see him clean up a little bit, and it's almost like when Edmondson went up, I expected him to take on more of a role, play like top line or second line defensive minutes, and just kind of seemed like he stuck around second line, third line minutes.
Yeah, see, that's why I want to give him a B-, because I want him to live up to that potential. And the hits, the physicality that he's been showing out there, if he can just blend that and like solidify his game and clean up his sloppy areas, I think he could be a solid, like you said, he could sit there for Edmondson and be a good replacement for him next year. So yeah,
it's not that much different from what we saw from Edmondson in his first season. You know, sometimes you can't always find the play in the first split second you have the puck, so you got to do something with it, and it ends up being a turnover. And it's all a learning process getting over here into the North American hockey.
Well, see, like Wallander played for Rogel, right? Before him was Mortiz Sider, who had that solid defensive spot, and then he kind of took over that role when Mortiz Sider left. And that's like why he was so highly touted down here when he was coming over, like everyone's like, oh, he's going to be great. But yeah, so when Edmonton's stepping away next year, we're really hoping to see that kind of year from him like he did back in the SHL.
We can go over Brogan Rafferty now. Brogan Rafferty has played 62 games. He's got 4 goals, 25 assists, 29 points, and he's a +3. And that is second on our team in points for defensemen.
But also, with his great defensive stuff, he also has made some mistakes. Keep in mind, some pretty crucial ones. But besides those mistakes, everyone makes mistakes. He's been pretty solid. So, yeah. I gave him a B.
Yeah, I ended up giving him a B+ because he has been creating a lot of chances in the offensive zone on the power play. And he's got 99 shots right behind Edmondson and Johansson. So, kind of leading the march as our veteran defenseman.
So, your side, Didier?
The captain. I gave Didier a B.
As did I.
Which in our mid-season review, I gave Didier a C. So this is a huge improvement for him to get all the way up to a B by the end of the year. In 61 games, he's got 4 goals, 4 assists for 8 points, but he's a +6. And Didier's definitely laid some of the biggest hits out there this season. And man, he's the captain. He's done a lot for the city. He's really come to grow on us both, I think.
Great presence in the locker room. You can tell all the younger prospects look up to him, and that's huge to see. So yeah, definitely get a B for Didier. All right, so Wyatt Newpower, I gave a C plus. I gave him a little worse earlier in the year, but I feel like lately been looking like a lot better of a player.
Yeah, for sure. I gave him a C, mainly because I believe he's been a healthy scratch a lot. The difference is from the mid-season to now, man, he has completely cleaned up his game as far as I remember we kind of called him out for like charging people where he'd like leave the play behind and completely open up the ice. I don't think we've seen a whole lot of that. He's got 34 games all season. He's got a goal, 6 assists for 7 points. But he's sitting at +6, so he really kind of shows where he's at in the second half there. And 58 penalty minutes on the season, where he had 40 in the first half of the season. So he really cleaned it up there.
Impressive change of demeanor and character, so nice. So we got Radim Shimek.
Yeah, we've seen 9 games for Shemek. Hard to give him a rating. I gave him a B minus because he's done a lot of just he's gone out there and done what Dan Watson's asked of him. He's a veteran coming in from an NHL team, the San Jose Barracuda organization. Good to have another veteran in the lineup. They know what they're doing, and it's a steady performer. And he's got an assist for us so far. But I'm looking to get our first goal from Shemek out here in this playoff run.
I gave him a B minus also. So Emil Vero, our last defenseman on the list today, I gave him a C plus.
I gave him a C plus too.
I mean, he's done good. He's just there's mistakes that happen when he's out there, but he's just not consistent. Is my only thing with him. He does really great things, and then he does really not great things sometimes that lead to turnovers. But if he can get that under control and get his consistency down, I feel like he could work his way back up to like a B.
And 32 games played this year. He had a goal, 5 assists, 6 points. He's a +5, so he's doing a decent job defensively. I think we're just kind of seeing. I'd like to see him get a little more experience now at this point. You know, we've had a lot of movement with defensemen this late in the season, but Vero's been a healthy scratch a lot as well. So limited games means limited experience.
Pretty much what it sums up to. Yep, that's it for the defensemen. We'll move on to the forwards. We're going to start with Jonatan Berggren. I'm going to give him an A.
Yeah, Berggren gets an A for sure.
Yep, leading the team in almost all the scoreboard statistics. Yeah, you're going to have to give him an A. He's definitely proved himself down here. He's a star AHL player, and hopefully that he can go up on Detroit next year and he can prove to Yzerman that he is an NHLer. I mean, I think he's proved to all of us down here that he should be up there. I just think he's got to have the correct stones fall in line for him.
Yeah. 53 games played, 24 goals, 32 assists, 56 points. He's our only point per game player.
So Marco Kasper.
Yeah, Marco Kasper, I gave an A minus. He's had a tremendous season.
I also gave him an A minus. He definitely improved a lot from the beginning. Like I said before, he was almost like Casper, the invisible ghost. You expected a lot more from a first-round guy, but wow, he definitely turned it up, and he was up in the top 5 of all of our scoreboard. So yeah, he had a heck of a season, A minus. Look to see him challenging for a spot on the wings next year. And I mean, I'd assume he'd probably start down here and for a while. You know how Iserman's been with our guys going up. But hopefully there'll be less of player jam and he'll get his opportunity.
71 games for Casper this year, most on the team. That's huge. 14 goals, 21 assists, 35 points, and +9 also leads the team. Just goes to show you how well-rounded Casper really is. Also getting 153 shots, which is 3 less than Berggren.
Great season by Marco Casper. So Carter Mazer, I gave him B+.
I give Mazer an A-.
Nice. But yeah, he's definitely been one heck of a player. He's a really gritty guy. He'll get right in your face. He's got the speed. He flies around. It's crazy. He's definitely gonna be a NHLer at some point. He was in the top 5 of our statistics. But yeah, he's had a great season, and he's kind of on that same boat with Casper. They're both the next 2 prospects challenging for Detroit.
Yeah, and they both play with such an edge, and they're not afraid of anyone. 60 games played for Mazer, 17 goals, second on the team. As a rookie, that's what we want to see. 20 assists,
Yes.
37 points. He ended the season at -3, but clean it up a little bit, get that back up to the pluses, and we're looking at an elite player.
Elmer Soderblom.
Yeah, I ended up giving Soderblom a B+ to finish the season.
I gave him a B+ too, and I felt like he's just been sick lately a lot, and he hasn't been around. But the beginning of the season was really slow for him, and he really turned it around to the point when all our dudes were up in Detroit, he kind of seemed to be like the guy, and then he went down with a sickness. If it weren't for the sickness and him being absent so much recently, I would probably have him down for an A also. But he's a big 6'8" guy. He's got the huge size and the reach. I mean, a special, unique player, and you definitely want to see him stepping it up.
Yeah, for sure. 61 games for Soderblom this year. 13 goals, 16 assists, 29 points. Finished +1. And I think we're starting to see a well-rounded Soderblom where he's kind of starting to put everything together a little bit.
But all right, Austin Czarnik.
I ended up giving Czarnik a B.
I gave him a B+ just because he's been so solid in like the face-off dot when he's down here, and how he's such a consistent depth guy up in Detroit. He's just like a great tool to have to bounce back and forth when injuries happen.
Yeah, those are all very good points. And like you said, he's definitely a leader of this team. Comes down most of the time, plays first line minutes. We are definitely going to need him in this playoff run. He's going to be one of those players that is clutch moments, going to be out there on the power play, penalty kill, whatever it is. Whenever we need a guy, Czarnik's the guy that's going to come off the bench. So 38 games played, 10 goals, 18 assists for 28 points. And he is a -1.
All right, Amadeus Lombardi.
Yeah, great season for Lombardi too. I gave him a B+.
Yep, I gave him a B. I feel like he started the season a lot hotter. I feel like out of all the younger guys like Mazer and Casper, I feel like he kind of stood out in front of them to start. And then I feel like in the middle there, Mazer took over, and then Casper kind of took over there more at the end, but Lombardi kind of slowed down at the end there. I just like to see him step back up and compete with those other two again next year and get back into that A category. But I definitely see it happening next year, for sure.
Yeah, I think with Lombardi, really good to see him playing 70 games this season. Everyone was worried about him being small, taking a hit, going out, whatever that worry was, it's out of the way. He's a very physical young kid. 70 games in, he got 5 goals, 21 assists, 26 points, and +5. Lombardi's well capable of handling business. Where we're not seeing the number of goals is we're not seeing the number of shots. We're only seeing 76 shots in 70 games. I'll just throw this out there right now. Luff has 73 shots in 26 games.
But yeah, so let's get into Matt Luff.
Yeah, I gave Luff a B+.
I give him an A- just because he's gone through so much and all these injuries, and he comes back and just immediately contributes on the power play, immediately contributes, and like you said, he's got all those shots, and he's just a great guy to have, an older veteran guy.
Yeah, in 26 games, he's got 10 goals, 8 assists for 18 points. I believe he's like 0.6 goals per game, and that's like number 2 on the team. Luff's definitely pulled his weight since returning to the ice.
So now next, Cross Hannes.
I got Hannes at a C+.
As do I. He got buried in the talent this year with all the other guys. He was kind of like our best prospect last year, and I feel like he started turning around there around the same time Soderblom started to turn around, and then I feel like he's kind of started to slow down again near the end of the season, and I just like to see him ramp it back up. So that's why I got the C+.
I think you nailed it. Hannes played great with Soderblom. When they were out there together, they were figuring it out together. And Hannes had 58 games. He was a healthy scratch quite a bit this year. And he was also injured and took a couple dirty hits. And so in 58 games, he's got 8 goals, 8 assists, 16 points, finished at even, plus minus. He's been playing a lot of third, fourth line minutes. And when he did get to step up with Soderblom, I think that's when we saw him get those goals. He kind of had a couple good weeks there.
Yost Brants.
I gave him a B.
Yep, I gave him a B- just because how good he was last year. He led the team in points. I feel like there's a slight decline, so instead of giving him a B, I gave him a B-.
Yeah, he led the team in shots, 157, so, and 16 goals. Did a good job there.
Nice. Yep. So we'll give him a B. You changed my opinion. You've swayed me. And then Tyler Spiza, I got him a B.
Yeah, I got
he's
easy at a B-.
Had a good comeback year. A relentless guy. He had that injury, and then he comes back and drags the guy off the bench like a couple of weeks later. So that's a true hometown hockey guy for us. So we love that guy. So he got to be.
Yeah, and finished the season +8, so that was huge.
Yes, yeah. So did we do Dominic Shine already?
I don't think we did.
I gave him an A- just because he's the heart and soul of our team, and he's always there on the penalty kill and power play, and he's always in the forecheck, and he's always making stuff happen that no one else makes happen. And he had a heck of a season too.
Yeah, he also finished +8, which is huge. Number 2 on the team, and 33 points for him is I commend you, brother.
Yep. And then Tara Rosie. I gave him a B.
Rosie, yeah, I gave him a B.
Great guy to have.
Limited 9 goals this season, but still gets a large amount of assists at 27. Still finishes relatively close to the top with 36 points. So Taco's being Taco.
Yeah, key piece of this team. And then Zach Aston Reese, I got to give him a B+. He's been great out there. Him and Shine and all these veterans have been great for us this year.
So, yeah, Aston Reese is one of the biggest improvements of the season. I gave him a B+ too. So it finished with 30 points and just overall a great person to have in the organization, being able to play up and down in Detroit and Grand Rapids.
Yeah, Ben. We're not really going to grade any of the... Oh, we got Tim Gettinger real quick. Yep, I got him on a B.
Yep, I got injured at a B as well. And went down with an injury late in the season. Definitely limited his contributions, but finished with 25 points, 12 goals, 13 assists. So,
yeah, the definitely started the season stronger, but after that injury, definitely slowed a little, but definitely good enough to get himself a B. And then, yeah, we're not really going to grade Hunter Johannes, Curtis Hall, Emmett Finney, any of those dudes. They just haven't played enough for us to get a solid grasp on them. Yeah, so that should wrap up our player reviews. We'll get into a quick season recap. So the season started out in October. We actually, for opening weekend, we pulled a sweep on the Colorado Eagles. And we actually looked like a really good team out there. Great opening weekend.
Yeah, it was super exciting just to be back to hockey again. And for you to go to your home ice and win 2 times in a row like that definitely lit some fire under you just to be shut down the next weekend.
Yeah, the Eagles struck back, and the rest of the month was pretty much chaos. We had that nightmare where we all threw the pucks on the ice and lost an OT to Cleveland. Yeah, it started to look like the same old Griffins hockey of last year. Like, we couldn't really generate any offense. We couldn't generate on special team. We just couldn't even pass or control the puck, it seemed. But yeah, there are a couple standouts that month of October. Amadeus Lombardi probably looked the best out of everyone. But yeah, it was just looking disappointing, and the disappointment kind of continued right into November.
I know me and you were spending a lot of time in the woods at this point.
Yep, hunting.
Doing between following the Griffins and following the deer around the woods. It became a struggle for us.
Yeah, and we got swept. The Toronto Marlies swept us. The Texas Stars swept us. And then we got a split against the Manitoba Moose. And it was just a lot of losses, we just kept enough wins in, but we were still battling to keep that 500. We were still underneath it. We just couldn't get past 500. It was seemed impossible.
Along with the rest of our division was also struggling to stay at 500. So it's kind of a blessing.
Yep. So pretty much that continued on into the beginning of December. Same old, same old. And then the whole division continued to play horribly, and we were sitting there with a chance to be in the last playoff, the 5th spot, which is the last playoff spot, and a chance. But we had the Texas Stars. And I think this was a pivotal, game-changing moment of the season. I think this is where we really dialed in everything, and we lost to the Stars the first night. And we beat the Stars, and then we lost to them the both games, but we brought them to overtime and won, so we got 3 points, and that kept us right there in the race. And after that, we just started winning, and that was when everything changed.
Yeah, that Texas series, it was those 4 games right around Christmas time, and after that, you guys kind of know how it goes. Griffins started putting up those W's.
Yep, it seemed like we kept that level of no mistakes and the shutdown defense that we pulled on the Stars, and we
Kosa
started
became
using that.
alive.
Yes.
Kosa became a huge part of this team, and I think this is when Kosa started to pass Hutchinson as the 1A.
Yep, so January continued. I remember everything was getting good, and we had our first kind of setback after we started doing good. We started out the month, we swept Iowa at home, and then we had that setback where it was a really blizzardy night.
Well, the 1 week of winter we had here in Michigan.
But yeah, I remember we traveled all the way down to that game on that crazy blizzard, and there's a lot of people out there supporting the Griffins during the blizzard, and that was really cool to see. But yep, we swept Manitoba, and we just kept winning pretty much the rest of the month after those 2 losses. And that was the beginning. After those losses, our point streak began. And every game after that, into January and February, every game from there, we got at least a point in. There was a real fun Toasters night. That night was absolutely a blast.
Yeah, Toasters night definitely was legendary. When we went into February, we had 4 shootouts in a row. 2 of them against Manitoba. We split a series with them 1-1. We lost to Cleveland twice in a row, both in overtime.
Yeah, and this season Cleveland's kind of been our kryptonite. We play a good game against them, but they just get the luck of the bounce of the puck, and they just win somehow in overtime, or the refs give them a deal, or fans on the ice. It's Cleveland was our most hated besides Rockford so far this year. But yep, the Grand Rapids Griffins ended up playing the Milwaukee Admiral, the biggest game in AHL history of teams with point streaks, biggest point streak matchup ever in the regular season. And the Grand Rapids Griffins won that and ended the Milwaukee Admirals game streak. Our streak was going strong, and it extended to 18 games, a franchise record for points, games with a point.
Impressive stuff, man.
So March, pretty much, our streak ended to Cleveland. Once again, like I said, we hate them. But our home streak record continue. Kosa's record with points continued. We broke the record for home streak to 19 games at home with a point, and then Kosa broke the franchise rookie goalie record. And yeah, and then April came, and a lot of dudes got called up to Detroit, so we kind of finished the month off 5-4 and 0-0.
Yeah, and during the month of March and April, Texas plummets in the division, and Rockford rises, and we end up having to really kind of win our last couple games just to ensure our home ice advantage against Rockford, our second seed, to get into the playoffs.
And it was a fight till the end. We ended up gaining the home field advantage by 1 point.
Yeah, an overtime win against Milwaukee at the Van to end the season.
Well, it was a blast. So what would you say were your favorite highlights of the season, man?
There are some good nights out there this year. Toasters night definitely tops the list. Yep. The Berggren hat trick definitely is up there as one of the best nights.
The Milwaukee win, the streak ender.
And then our 18-game point streak, that was a big night.
Yeah, just been a blast.
Yeah, the 4 shootouts in a row, like the crazy season, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Me and you doing this podcast, it's been a wild one.
It really has, man, and it's a blast, and it's so nice to be able to have this podcast now. Like, we plan on continuing on with it. We're so happy with the following we have right now. Like, we don't even care how many more people we get, honestly. Like, we love it, but like we're content and happy. Like, this is this has just been so much covering this team and meeting all the people in Grand Rapids. It's been an absolute blast. We truly have the best community and one of the best hockey towns in America.
Proud to be a Griffins fan, man.
Yeah, go Griffins, man, for sure. But all right, so
yeah, some predictions versus reality. Our predictions we had at the beginning of the season.
We only had a couple because we didn't want to get too crazy on our first year. So
you had asked me if I wanted one thing to go right for the Griffins this year, what would it be? And this is what I told you.
So if there's one thing this whole season that there's one thing that you could have happen that you want to happen this year that needs to happen, what is that?
Sebastian Kosa maintaining a good development and kind of claiming the number one in Grand Rapids, playing 36 games at least.
And then I believe I asked you the same question, if you could have one thing go right. And your statement was...
Okay. So for my number one thing is make the playoffs, man. Please. Make it happen. I mean, we only have to be best 5 out of 7. I mean, like, the whole league makes the playoffs. We got this. With all this talent, if we don't make the playoffs, we got some major problems here in Grand Rapids. But I don't see that happening. I really see us making the playoffs this year. The Griffins answered us, man.
Yeah. Got what we wanted. Kosa playing 40 games this year. Takes that 1A job. Starts in the playoffs. And that's what you wanted. Let's get them playoffs, man. We got there.
The only other prediction we had was, where will the Griffins finish the season?
And that is when I told you...
So, where do you think the Griffins are going to finish in the standings this year?
I would say we're going to finish in the top 10 teams in the league. Probably right at about 9 or 10.
What about our division?
I am hoping to be 2 or 3.
2 or 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty close. We'll see what you said, man.
We've been a losing team for a while, and it's a brand new coaching staff. So I'm going to go conservative with where I say. I say we finish 4th in our division. And I say we finish around like 15th, 16th in the league.
Right down the middle.
Yeah, right down the middle. But I feel like we have a very high ceiling, man. Like, we could take the roof off this. Yeah, so we're pretty close. I don't know. I was just hoping that we were good. You know, I was like just hoping we didn't suck again.
My view was very optimistic at the time, I'll say that.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's get into these rewards and penalty box, and let's wrap this up, man. All right, welcome to the Griffins Pipeline Podcast 2023-24 Player Awards. We're going to start off with Best Forward. Who wins Best Forward, Kyle?
Jonatan Berggren.
All right, Best Defenseman goes to Simon Edvinsson. Best Goalie goes to Sebastian Kosa. Who is the most improved player, Kyle?
I think we go right back to Sebastian Kosa.
Who is the most NHL ready?
Well, I think we were shown that Simon Edvinsson is our most NHL ready player.
Comeback Player of the Year.
Tyler Spezia.
Grit Player of the Year, Carter Mazer. Special Teams Player of the Year, Dominic Shine. Most reliable player of the year.
Marco Casper.
And who was the most clutch player of the year?
Jonatan Berggren.
Who was the MVP, most valuable player of the Grand Rapids in the 2023-24 season?
Jonatan Berggren.
Congratulations, all you gentlemen, for winning the Griffins Pipeline Podcast Player Awards. Jonatan Berggren wins with 3 awards, and he goes into the Hall of Fame as the most awards in the season with 3. So, congratulations, gentlemen. All right, let's get to the penalty box. All right, so in this segment, we step out of hockey or stay in hockey, or anyone is fair game to throw in the penalty box for being a complete idiot. You can throw them in for a 2-minute minor, 4-minute double minor, 5-minute major, or 10-minute misconduct. Kyle, who are you throwing in the box?
Well, today it is Ovechkin's turn to go into the box. A scoreless performance in 4 games against the New York Rangers, replacing our Detroit Red Wings with the Washington Capitals 2024 playoff Stanley Cup run. And their lead best player can't even get a point. They can't even get a win. It's just kind of like, wow. I just feel like we would at least done a little better than that. Larkin's definitely getting a goal if he makes the playoff.
Yeah, I feel like we'd win a game, too. Have fun in the box, Ovi.
Ovechkin, you're getting 2 minutes.
All right, so who I'm throwing in the box? Allie Walker, country singer, at a Nashville Predators hockey game, pours a beer into a dead catfish, and then proceeds to chug the beer out of the catfish that she just poured into. That's disgusting, dude. That is sick.
So gross, dude.
What do? Just lay around and wait till you see if you have a disease or not the next day? I'll take my beer out of a nice Griffin Stein, but have fun in the box.
Yeah, I won't be drinking beer out of an octopus either.
No, that's a double minor for sure.
Yeah, I almost threw up when I saw that.
Yeah, it's actually that's sick, dude. But okay. Thank you everyone for listening. If you like us, give us a 5-star review. Follow and like us on Facebook and Twitter. It's your last chance to call in and let your opinion known for this year. And win that Jonatan Berggren puck. So call in at 1-616-319-1175. Go Griffins.
Go Griffins.